Hello, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Patak, I am the friendly Klingon speedrunner. The observant among you will notice the Messiah logo there, which indicates that this game was made by NCS, and most of you out there may not have seen this game before. So this is a Japan-exclusive platformer called Mamono Hunter Yohko, which is one of my very favourite Sega games, and I am mostly a Sega speedrunner. This tells the story of Yohko, who is a high school girl from Japan, with epic pretzel hair that we can see here on the title screen, who goes around defeating demons in her spare time, and she does it all in heels and in an epic dress. So, let's get straight into the action. Time will start once I gain control. We will show you a little cutscene here at the beginning. And this is also one of JKL's favourite games, I'm sure you know him. This is my first time here, hopefully I can do the run proud. And Yohko is a 16-year-old high school girl who has to get back to class in time, so hopefully we can defeat these demons quickly. Let's get underway. So we've got a giant sword here, and we've also got a shield. Now if I hold the sword button down, I can throw that shield in any of the directions going on here, which is very important because this game throws enemies and bullets at you like nobody's business. It's not a Toho, but it's certainly on the way to that. We've also got slope physics and momentum, and you'll see in the top left corner though, whenever I take a hit, my health bar regenerates a little bit afterwards, so it's going to pay me to not take too many hits in succession, because that's basically going to mean that I'm going to be at less risk of dying. We've also got vines here where you've got to understand what's collision and what's not. We've got a hurt box in the tip of the sword and in the shield. We've got plenty of health pickups like that one, which restore a full bar's worth of health. We've also got plenty of checkpoints and 35 lives. So it's not a difficult game to complete, but it is certainly psychologically difficult, because it's very much a case of learning patterns. And any of you out there who know the Genesis will know what Genesis RNG is. It's kind of procedural, so basically the way you play the game affects what's coming up on the screen, but also it can be quite sensitive frame by frame. We are on to the first boss already. First boss is a giant moth who can control the wind. I've got to run across these leaf triggers to get him to change direction and change the wind for me. Thank you, Mr. Moth. And I'm going to go up the top of a giant lotus flower and try and do a quick kill here. You can go underneath and be passive, but being Klingon, I like to be aggressive. Not like that, we don't want to fall off this vine. Let's see if we can do some mash hits here. He's going to fly away. There we go, first boss done. At the end of every boss fight I will fall off and die because that saves the timer counting down. Scene 1 is clear. Chat, this is your time to shine. I want you to guess, how many times will it take me to do the volcano skip? Now the lore of this game is that there is a quarter pixel perfect skip in the volcano, which in theory saves about 20 seconds if you get it first try. Now the problem with this is you don't often get it first try, and on my YouTube you can see a blooper reel where it took me 40 tries to get it. Now those of you out there who are not mathematically challenged will know that was not a time save, but we do it anyways. And if you get the volcano skip first try, you treat yourself to a soda, because that is the lore of the game. So if I can get that, I'll be getting myself some Rockstar later on. Other brands are available, drink caffeine responsibly. Got some lovely graphics and sound here as well. And this is 1989, so this is one of the very early Genesis games, before a certain blue hedgehog came along. Here comes the skip, there's no setup, it's a YOLO skip, can I get it? Hey! First try, I get to treat myself to a can of drink later on, lovely. So this game is really exciting in marathons, especially in races, and JKL and I did it for Sheen Gabriel's Sega Fest recently. And because of that skip, typically somebody is ahead and somebody is behind early on, and it's always exciting to see one person chase down the other. I'm not going to spoil what happened for you, but I will tell you to go and watch that race, because it was really close right to the end. Took a death there, that's okay. It's common to take deaths, there's only ever been a few deathless games in this. I can modulate my jump position by holding left like that and get down there first try, which is nice. And one of the difficult things with this game is you almost have to imagine you're playing piano and do a little bit of mental separation of your D-pad hand and your finger mashing hand so that you can be precise on all these ledges with all the slopes and just making sure you don't jump a beat too early. All sorts of flames here that are going to threaten to damage my health, I don't want that. And there's only ever... oh, that's not good. Let's try that again. There's only ever been a couple of deathless runs of this game, so it's nice because you can often end up way behind but still have good chances to PB. Checkpoints scattered liberally, we're on to the second boss now. In theory you can die at the same time as killing the boss and save a bit more time. Probably won't happen, but we'll see what I get. That's pretty good. Lots of mashing. Bye bye boss. Epic flame hair there. If you thought the first two stages were difficult, you've seen nothing yet. We are on to stage 3. When I first learned this game a couple of years ago, this took me 2 weeks to finish even once. Fish City. We've got all these different fish coming in different patterns, you've got to react accordingly. These giant landfish have a massive hitbox, so I'm going to be doing down stabs on them, because that means I can attack twice as quickly. And as far as this shield that's protecting me from bullets and projectiles, a few projectiles in the same area will actually damage and let them get through. So you do have to keep your wits about you. We've got mosquitoes everywhere as well. Basically, in this game, the more aggressive you are to get to each checkpoint, the better. Because when the RNG resets like this, it doesn't really help you that much. You're still very vulnerable to the winds of fate. We've got some fish coming up here on land that might get despawned or might move on to the wrong area. The one good thing about the whole checkpoint system and the way the game works, however, taking a death just before a checkpoint, is that you can do a lot of set-piece practice. So if there's an area that you struggle with, you can work a lot on it, but you can also accept that this is not a run you will ever get perfect. And what's my history with this game? Well, when I first met JKL, which is a story involving fish fingers and it's an entirely separate tale, one of the first things I saw him play was this game during the pandemic. And I immediately fell in love with it. It looks gorgeous, it's charming, and I thought I want to run that one day. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, and I started running it. And over the course of about 7 months, I ground down. Initially got sub 20, which is the first really good time you want to get. Looked at runs from the Mother Brain, from B-Trim, and from MSM, who's a Toho player. And eventually I was able to get the world record and take it down to 14:15, where it stands now. Now the only reason I was able to do that is because of a cycle skip that was found in the last stage, which we will get to discussing later on. Do a little swag strat there to skip one of the platforms. You can do a more advanced version from the very top of that area that JKL does. I am quite so brave. As we ride this moving platform, which will descend slowly down to boss number 3, we are going to meet Pinchy the Lobster, who has got some water balls for me, because apparently high schoolers can swim, but they don't like having water thrown at them. Got to set up for a specific position. He is gone. Bye, Pinchy. Yohko can have a swim. It's not Yohko, oh no, it's okay. And when I played this game, it took a long time for me to get used to the swings and fortunes with the momentum. Any of you who've seen any of my other runs will know that me and spatial awareness are not the best of friends. So many bloopers. We are on to scene 4, Into the Cave. And where I come from, Havey Cavey is a phrase we use to indicate something scary, something a little bit precarious. That could definitely be said of this stage. We have now got bats and spiders, and snakes. We've got bullets everywhere, so there's lag management to deal with as well. And this is where it gets more tense, because at this stage you're thinking, am I going to PB? Am I going to be able to do something with the game? We've got wood lice coming. You're thinking, am I going to be aggressive and try and skip a checkpoint? It's easy to second guess yourself in this game and play too fancily. But really, it's mostly about just doing the basics. And if any of you out there are interested in learning it, JKL and I would love to teach you this game. We've got some trees here. You've got to remember what's collision and what isn't with the branches. Try and get rid of all this lag with all these bullets. Although we can use it to our advantage like that by doing a frame-perfect jump. Get some health and go to the second tree. Stage 4 isn't so bad. Like, once you conquer stage 3, you can confidently complete the game. And it's not really even a case of not being able to, it's just psychologically when you lose 15-20 lives, you don't feel so good about your run. But this is a really cool game, because only 6 of us are on the leaderboard, but we've all held the world record at some point. Motherbrain, B-Trim and JKL have featured in ESA, so there's some pedigree behind it. And I mentioned that cycle skip earlier, that saves 50 seconds. So the world record is 14:15 at the moment, but what will astonish you is that MSM, who formerly held the world record, held it in time before the skip was found, and was only a minute behind where we've got to today. So he's an absolute beast, he's a Toho runner, go check his runs out, he's amazing. The only real thing I've been able to contribute to this is to find a reliable setup for that skip in the final stage, and just pulling things together in the run and just going at it, because I'm very stubborn. I like to have runs that are short, you can optimise down to the hilt. So in theory, you could get 13x in this, but it would take forever, because not only do you have to get your volcano skip first try, you have to get every little bit of luck, and even a deathless run might not be 13x. This is a good time so far though. On to the 4th boss, a Sneck Demon. Full of heads. Don't walk into him, that's not bad. Do some mashing. You might also notice Yohko has no face. How she's going to eat her dinner I don't know, but we're not really concerned with that right now. There we go. 4th boss defeated. You've got a hitbox in the sword, but you'll notice that there is a few frames delay. So if you mash too fast, you're actually losing the advantage of that hitbox. We're going to go into the final stage. This is going very well so far. We've got plenty of time before the second run as well, which is going to be Quartet in the Master System block. But right now we've got some ice physics to deal with. We've got dragons that are going to chase me. To some extent I can manipulate those with where I throw my shield. I'm going to do some dancing on these platforms, but all of you at home sit perfectly still. Only I may dance. So the cycle skip coming up is what JKL found a few years ago. It involves going to the Demon Carousel where we defeat the gems of the previous bosses, but then skipping the checkpoint the game expects us to get, which saves us riding one of these platforms all the way back around. And because I'm Mr. Boring, I found a setup where I'm going to use the music to time it, to make sure I've got a bit of margin to leave that platform early or late, which is nice. This is already going much better than my practice runs. And the final boss is a really difficult one to do, because you've got a bunch of clones. We can despawn a few of them, and in the first phase they're moving quite slowly. But in the second phase there's only one, but she's really fast. Now I'm going to do some counting for my setup. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, I died. Death there is okay, because that will reset the checkpoint beneath. Wait it out, go on to 21, that's good. Do some dancing. Lots of moving platforms in this game, lots of slope physics. It's the sort of game where if you're having an off day it will make you look very foolish. Although I have no problem making myself look foolish to begin with. And Yohko is doing all of this in heels, remember? More power to her. So the game wants you to go onto that platform above with the health. I'm just going to say no. Miss my trigger, that's okay. I know the lag cycles, so I was able to adapt, thankfully. You do have to have adaptation on this game and be able to know what your backup strat is. So I'm going to take it a little bit safe here. Make sure I kill both these gems at the first time. There we go. So now instead of going back the long way round, I'm just going to death walk back to where I was. And then I've got another moving platform thing to do. Don't land on there on a 13 and we're good. Do a little bit of wrapping here. Shoot some enemies that were on the right hand side from the left. And you'll notice I had 2 moving platforms lined up there to give myself a bit of safety, because I, sir, am a chicken. Final boss coming up. Hope you're enjoying this game. It's definitely one of my favourite Genesis games. I'm lucky because I've speedrun a couple of other Genesis games like Super Hang-On, so I'm used to the swings of RNG and the way the Genesis works. And this also featured in a Mega 16 race before, so it's had some exposure. I think it's time to get it some more though. Let's just kill this dragon. Here's the final boss. This has been pretty clean so far. Can we finish the job? Stand on here and despawn. I think we're okay, yep. And they've lined up, that's pretty nice. Just got to make sure not to walk off this platform, which has happened many times. She's messing me about a bit. Here's the final one. We've also got some statue fire coming up. With the lag, you can also very easily mistakenly move off the platform without intending to. There we go, job's a good one. Jump off and die. That's time. 15:23, I'll take that any day. We've got a lovely little credits here that we're going to watch now, and then I'm going to set up for the next game. So while we are watching these credits, I will let you know that I created recently the Master System Prolific list, and personally I think we don't have enough runners on the Master System because there's only been 16 people who've even run 10 Master System games. So all of you out there watching, I challenge you to run 1 Master System game. And there are plenty out there. We've got something for NES runners, we've got something for racers. We've also got Quartet coming up, which is my favourite new Master System game this year. I'm going to be joined in a moment by Mr. Boost Shane on commentary, because this one's a little bit more intense. Let's enjoy the credits. That was Mamono Hunter Yohko for the Genesis. Hope you've enjoyed the run. We will be back in a moment with the Master System block. Stay tuned.